Week 1 semifinals game number 2 is what we're going into right now. Epiphany Bolt sits up 1-0 against Envo Clan, a team that looked fantastic in the round of 16, but as it comes down to the wire, a little bit more is in trouble here for this squad. As we said, game number 1 went the way of Epiphany Bolt. What really stuck out to you, besides the Raven? We've discussed the Raven to death. What really stood out to you here for this squad?
Epiphany Bolt playing very well around, and this isn't, it does lead to Raven, but playing very well around the rotations of their soul laner more specifically.
Sure.
We saw a great play from Axioz to make sure to take his lead and abuse it everywhere. I feel like iSilenced was a little bit lackluster. He found great ultimates and perfect times to use it, but early on didn't really have a lot of pressure, slow. The rotations were a little bit slow, so we'll have to see, I think, some improvement for this second game.
Right, for sure. I definitely kept my eye on the Hunters in this position. I like both of them.
Yes.
I think both of these players have a potential to really go off, and we saw in their individual games how well these guys did. Now we're going to see how one more time how they come together, because I mean, even on the losing side, Envo Clan's Hunter Hayzer looked pretty strong.
I'd say he looked better than JoJowasTaken.
Really?
I would say I think he looked a little bit better. Obviously, it didn't work out for him and his team, but let's see if he can use that. Envo Clan, they have first pick, but it doesn't look like they want to pick up Raven, then they're just going to ban him away.
And the Soul Athena out Kwang ban as well. So, as you said, Envo Clan learned a little bit, taking the Raven off the board. And everybody else kind of seems, I don't want to say standard bans, but standard bans.
They're pretty meta. Khepri, we'll see his first gameplay in Season 3 was banned away so far the first couple games we've seen. And he will be a very lane controlling, at the same time defensive support. Epiphany Bolt really liked the ISIS from last game. Put out a lot of pressure on the map, and I liked it as well, so they're going to lock that in. Once again, all these mid-mages who have high CC have only been stronger now with Purification on 160-second cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got, not only do you have Purification on a long cooldown, but you also just have more power in their hands. Yes. Sometimes, you know, you'd compare and you go, all right, ISIS is, she's strong and she's got early push and she's got all this neat stuff, but sometimes we just want to hit people with a Scylla ult. And now, ISIS, those spirit balls, I mean, maybe it's not I'm a monster, but they certainly feel like it.
Batz going to be going the other way this time. It's going to be DeathPanter playing that. We've seen him play. He had a fantastic Thor game against the Poppies, although this game wasn't so much. There was a lot of missed ultimates, and that's honestly what happened in the mid-game, is that he started missing a couple abilities and unfortunately really wasn't able to lock down a lot of early kills, and Epiphany started to slowly snowball off of that.
And that really is sort of, that had a lot to do with not only their composition, but how well Epiphany really played it. We noted how when Envo played, they didn't hesitate at all. And early in game 1, Epiphany made a little bit of a hesitation, which opened the window for Envo. And Epiphany immediately noticed, like, look, okay, we understand how quickly Envo is going to launch off, so we have to protect these scenarios. And that's exactly what Epiphany Bolt did. And right now they're protecting their mid lane, taking Adanas and Nox off the table. They don't want ISIS to have to deal with any of that nonsense.
Exact same thing that they did last game as well. I'm assuming they know JustJack and know that he plays a pretty good Giannis and Nox as well. And Nox, honestly, her stock has probably been increased the most out of mids, simply because she has so much cooldown, or excuse me, so much control in her kit. And if she can burn your Purification at level 1 or 2, it's really opens you up to be ganked here. Envo Clan looking for their last 2 picks. We'll see if they go with the Agni Ho-Yi once again and look for that same style of composition.
Last game, Epiphany Bolt put a unkillable offensive beast into their solo lane with Raven. This game, Epiphany Bolt is going to put a unkillable offensive beast into their solo lane with Tyr. Now, they're different in the way they execute things, but Tyr is nigh unkillable and is very potent in this new world without beads and Magi's on everybody.
Also has a very good matchup against Bellona. He can knock up the bludgeon, cancel that out early, and with his recent buffs at the end of Season 2 to increase the base values on his clear early on, it really helps him get lane control against the typically lane-dominant Bellona. No Agni this time, no Scylla as well. Envo Clan, they're going to look to go the route of Poseidon in the mid lane.
Ooh, Naja on the side of Epiphany Bolt. Now, here's an interesting situation, and here, how... So Magi's Blessing, once upon a time, was a fantastic item. Everybody had a bubble.
Yes.
Then it was a terrible item. Nobody even thought about it. It's been rebalanced, moving into Season 3. How, in a vacuum, how much do you like Magi's Blessing?
I love it right now. I think Magi's is one of the best items in the game again. Still 2,300, 15 all protections wasn't a lot, but it gives you 350 health, and health is so much harder to come by this season with a lot of the defensive items having been split into multiple factions where you'll have your items that give you health and an extra benefit and the items that give you defense or pure protections and a little bit of extra benefits. There's very few cross-pollination, which is why we've seen the Urchin become the primary defensive item because it gives you health and all protections. And so right now, with that in mind, in addition to the fact that Purification is on 160-second cooldowns, and Magi's has actually been buffed to 70 seconds, so you get that bubble every 70 seconds. It's so good right now.
Tyr and Naja on the enemy team.
Funny.
How many bubbles do we see?
You'll see one probably on Batz, probably one on Khepri, and then maybe one on no numbers. Probably not one on no numbers. He doesn't really need it. He's frontline anyway, so he'll kind of be abusing. But definitely
this is the
on
Magi's Blessing game. This is the game. If you're a fan of Magi's Blessing, I don't know why you're a fan of individual items, but if you are a fan of Magi's Blessing,
I'm a fan of Old Heartseeker.
This is the game that you want to watch. I'm all right. Now I understand. I'm a fan of Old Heartseeker as well. I kind of want it back, but many mages don't, and that's really the situation we're at with Doomorb.
Look at this positioning. Envo Clan, once again, they want to do the double mid-camp start. You can see they set up the same ward style, but it's actually going to be Epiphany that take it away on the left-hand side. And Epiphany, they're going to grab the left mids, and on the right-hand side, it's going to be Envo grabbing those. So it should be an interesting start. And I actually like this start for junglers. On the right-hand side is going mid to blue. Your jungler gets level 5 by about the 2-minute mark if you also share both back harpies with the mid and just focus on clearing.
It does put your soul in a little bit behind, but, you know, players caring about how far behind they are is always, I mean, that's an interesting concept, right? You always want to be against your direct opponent, but,
Deathwalker actually going to soul lane.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised about that. I guess because the back harpies on the left-hand side got taken, but now you actually see Epiphany Bolt get control of the fire elementals. Batz is going to rotate in, but they're already completed, basically.
They're small, but they are definitely worth noting.
Like 15 gold each, a little bit of experience. It's free. If it's up and you have nothing else to take, it's fine to take.
Exactly. It's not a bad thing to get free stuff, as a little bit of poke gets put onto Naja.
I think Deathwalker made a mistake here. And actually, speaking of mistakes, one more hit. No numbers finds Axioz. Not exactly sure what happened in this lane, but not a good start for him. He has his teleport, though. He'll be back in the lane immediately.
Tanked the minions just a little too long there. Naja seeing if he can cause any punishment onto no numbers, but the answer is no. Numbers.
That was good.
I beat you to it.
Mid lane here. This ice is going to be hitting level 4, and Deathwalker just hitting level 4 himself. So I think this experience has been a little bit lackluster. Not a lot of sharing of the lane experience.
Okay.
And what you really want to do on a Poseidon is make sure you can hit level 5 and force an engagement before the other mid laner has to back, especially considering that this Isis has gone into Purification. She doesn't have the Aegis, and if you combine the Batz ultimate with that Poseidon ultimate, it's almost a guaranteed death unless you completely mess up and whiff everything.
And now one of the interesting things coming from Season 2 to Season 3, specifically with Poseidon, is Poseidon used to get okie doke kills, right? Like, you get Krakened, you die, and then you immediately buy that Aegis. Well, if you don't start off with Sanctuary at level 1, you can't get it till level 12, Kevin.
And that's something that I think
empowered Poseidon.
Yeah, and Envo Clan has recognized that, and I think that's why we've seen some Poseidon bans, is that if you invest in the Sanctuary early, you don't have the Purification for the Batz ult, and vice versa. If you invest into the Sanctuary, or excuse me, the beads, then you don't have the Sanctuary to immune the Poseidon all. And I really want to see Envo Clan abuse that combination.
And Envo Clan setting up for it. Right now we got to hit level 5, and that's exactly what they have done. 5 on both the mid laner and the jungler. Envo Clan want to get cheeky on the left-hand side, but
Hayzer's in a bad spot.
They don't even sniff it out. They just happen to find these two players waiting to gank the left lane, and that's enough to send everybody walking in their own directions.
That was really surprising for me. I can understand iSilenced being a little bit scared, but if he had just thrown the ring bounce onto the Khepri, it would have bounced between himself and Hayzer.
Sure.
And then he could have, if he found the sash to Hayzer, guaranteed dead unless the Khepri had the reactions of a god. And once again, no numbers pressuring out tier 1 hit. Can't find it, but is going to force the tier back once again, and no teleport available for him, and no numbers. His is all the way up. Mid lane here, JustJack and Deathwalker going to continue to farm. Still haven't been able to find anything, but they do have that 500 gold lead from First Blood.
That first blood has been the only action we've seen. We saw how quickly everybody was to retreat over on the left side, so a little bit of jungle clearing, and that's another big difference between Season 2 and Season 3 is how much attention has to be paid to the jungle so that your experience doesn't get wasted. There's just something spawning every single second of the game, it seems like.
There's a lot more to do in the jungle now, and it's not worth as much as it used to be with piggies on the left-hand side. However, taking control of those boars and pigs on the side lane, and especially if you can take control of the enemy's boars and pigs, you really start to see some significant experience leads within about 1 to 2 rotations. It's a level or two. So not only securing your own, but sealing away the others are very important. It looks like a Gold Fury being started up, and Epiphany Bolt going to do exactly what they did in Game 1, is just find Envo Clan sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, and again, when you have these early game gods like the Ices that could just blow up with the ultimate a little early there, but, you know, we don't take points off or anything like that. It's just going to allow you to set up these situations where if you give Epiphany Bolt an inch, they will, and they have, and they will again take a mile. 200 gold is not a strong lead, but look at the, really more importantly, look at the exchange. The lead over on Envo Clan was big, and now it's just even things up with that Gold Fury.
Envo Clan going to be 3-man splitting these back Harpies for now. Doom Orb has been completed for Poseidon. He's stacking it up. We haven't seen Aiurz take a trip back to the base, and that's the second time it's happened, and now Axioz in a lot of trouble. Big heal coming out from him, but I don't think he has enough mana to ult. Doesn't want to burn it, though. Understands that no numbers can't chase him down, and here's the rotation, though, from that mid laner and jungler. They're not going to make it in time, though. Tyr's going to get back. He does have his teleport up as well.
Yeah, I was talking about how unkillable Tyr is, but he's just getting handled by this Bellona.
And it's interesting, and no number's gonna get aggressed on, and even if Tyr found that, he's just putting himself into a bad spot, and he's focusing on getting auto attacks off on the Bellona instead of clearing, and he's already at half-life.
Well, he's taking this whole wave.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice to try and auto attack Bellona while getting beat on by creeps and taking her abilities.
He was hoping that the help from the jungle might have come a little bit earlier, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Now Naja has to play more defense than offense, as he might have wanted.
He's already dead.
Yeah.
Like, he has his ultimate, but if he walks up to this lane and isn't careful...
Oh, and Batz is right here.
Yeah.
Toasted like strudel. Deathwalker gets the second kill of the game. Envo Clan up 2-0. Ultimate and Naja going to help iSilenced find safety underneath the tower, and that's the end of that exchange. But Epiphany Bolt solo lane specifically is having a lot of trouble here in game number 2.
It's funny. It's changed, right? Game 1 was Axioz on the Robin, just completely dominating no numbers. Now that he's on this tier, it doesn't seem like he knows the matchup that well. DeathPanter rolls out to the mid camps. He's going to die there. No vision for him, and kind of just puts himself into an awkward spot. Very unfortunate. And that's the thing, too, is that these support players, you see a lot of heavy CDR builds going from the cooldown boots into the Breastplate of Valor, which is good when you get your abilities off, but you're so much more likely to get picked off. Not a single bit of health on that build.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times when you're looking for a kill, you stay away from the support because you're just going to put too much time and effort into a character that takes more to kill than some of the others. But if you look back at the builds or the traditional what everybody's starting to build, I mean, it's a starter item that doesn't really give you defense. It's a boots that don't really give you defense. And then breastplate eventually comes online, but your mage is still going to beat the hell out of you by just because all you have is physical defense, right? So these supports are squishier earlier on than people expect.
Yeah, it's an awkward exchange here coming into Season 3. The meta is that last year it was the jungler was the most important role. In my opinion, it was jungler, soul laner, mid, then your support, then your hunter. And I think it's switched since then. Now it's the mid laners the most important because they're putting out a lot more damage with Doom Orb early.
Yeah,
and on top of that, they find a lot more fights against enemy supports. And because it's so much harder for supports to find the health, and they're so much more likely to get picked early, the mages just have even a better time. It kind of extrapolates onto itself.
Yeah, I mean, and just to go down that path, I mean, mages, you want to build power, you just build power, right? You pick up a Doom Orb, you pick up boots, and everybody's happy. There's no real thought process. As a tank, you got to decide, well, who am I playing up against? Do I need health? Do I need protections? Is there somebody that can strip my protections? How many Chinsai are on the other team? You just build a Doom Orb if you're a mage.
Yeah, Deathwalker, though, jumping in. There's the Fear No Evil. iSilenced can't even get his ult off in time. The fear lasted too long, and another pick going the way of Envo Clan.
And there's that Doom Orb. The 4th kill, this time going to Poseidon, who has half the kills of the team. And I mean, 50 stacks already on that item. Truly, do more with do more, Kevin.
Left-hand side here. Hayzer getting a little bit pressured to be expected, right? It's JustJack versus Chiron. It's one of the worst hunters in lane versus one of the best hunters in lane. So,
and when you say worst, you're just talking about clear.
Yeah, coming into, well, even in fights, right? Like, JustJack can't really fight early, especially considering that at the end of Season 2, his poison darts were nerfed. The damage just isn't there. He has a lot of struggle poking. He has a lot of struggle clearing. Now, get JustJack to late game, and he's got his branching bolas and 6 stacks of his passive. He's going to swing harder than Chiron will on each hit, but early on, though, you expect Chiron to have that lead, and something that I think Epiphany Bolt can hold on to. Their soul laner is losing, but if they can get that Chiron into a power spike position and then start rotating him, maybe we could see a little bit of a lead come out. And he is probably going to go either Aussie or Ickvile. So I think once Chiron finishes those, Epiphany Bolt should really look to force more Gold Furies or more picks.
See if Epiphany Bolt is as objective-minded as my co-commentator. And here, Envo Clan now, and Epiphany Bolt is, look at that, just starting to de-ward the Gold Fury, which is sort of step 1 when you want to take a look at things, but cracking off the mark from JustJack, a little uncharacteristic from the couple of games we've seen so far. There's the ultimate out of Isis. That should help heal up the team and deal damage to the monkey. There it is. Deathwalker takes a spill. So does Khepri. Ultimate keeps him alive just barely, though. JustJack falls out on the backside. Xbalanque makes it out.
DeathPanter will pick up Kayla's. No numbers. Going to be ultimate trying to get out, but he'll be locked down. And Chiron coming around the corner, and this is going to be just a 4-4-0. Such a fantastic play from Epiphany Bolt. They had 3 members kind of start and sit in the Gold Fury pit, and then what happened is that Envo Clan full committed to them, and then you just saw the side lanes kind of come around and flank. Great job by Tyr to lock out the Poseidon after the whiffed Kraken, and that's going to be another Gold Fury going to Epiphany Bolt, and they even up the kills in the same sense. 2,000 gold lead.
Again, I just look at the art that this graph has turned into. Just looking at the just take the numbers out of it and just look at the lines, right? So Envo Clan gets a lead early on, and then bam, Epiphany Bolt takes it away. They do it again a little bit towards the 5-minute mark, and then one more time. They had 0 kills before that exchange. They get 4 for none. They take the Gold Fury, and then one more time, bam, takes the lead out from Envo Clan. 2,300 lead, a real lead for Epiphany Bolt here in just 10 minutes, 11 minutes of play. Very, very early in this game.
You know, I'm really surprised about Envo Clan because we saw them face the Poppies, and they just had this phenomenal synergy, right? Regardless of your opponent's strength, no matter how good they are, whether they're facing, Epsilon or whether they're facing the Poppies or Epiphany Bolt,
right?
If you have good synergy, you have good synergy, right? You follow the calls to your death regardless. But the past 2 games, they just seem to be on different pages. I mean, we saw JustJack just throw out that Kraken with no setup, and the Geb shield comes through, and Isis gets a little bit of health, but also it wasn't even the center. Like, he didn't wait for the Isis to get slowed, didn't wait for it to get stunned. There was so much that could have happened. He just throws it out, and then he doesn't have the Kraken, and then he gets picked by the Tears rotation, and it's just, they just seem to be on a different page, where against the Poppies, they were on the exact same one.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it, and I was very impressed by Envo Clan, because as you said, I mean, there's one thing to be said about beating an inferior opponent, but it's the how you do it, right? In Envo Clan, they just looked so clean, so put together. The lack of hesitation is something I mentioned multiple times, and JustJack has been on his game, and I even mentioned it during the fast-paced play-by-play, how uncharacteristic. I've only watched 2 games from this player, but it still seemed uncharacteristic based on the way he played around it. That time around, maybe that's a little bit more how Jack wants to feel, getting the kill against that Isis. And there's a rotation from Epiphany Bolt as they come from the solo lane, but it might be too little too late.
You can see Axioz trying to chase it down. No one in position. Actually gets a 2-man Fearless, and Deathwalker on half. There's the Fear No Evil, but it's not going to be any follow-up. And now Tyr's in a bad spot, surrounded by 4. He's going to get rooted in place, but this could just be a bait. This is a really good fight for Epiphany Bolt.
Well, it's not a good fight for Tyr. Epiphany Bolt will have to continue with only 3 members. Roma Invicta over the top. iSilenced being forced out. JustJack's tidal wave just gonna miss. Xbalanque dodging the Chiron shots. Has to find a way out. If iSilenced can grab him, that's gonna be a dead hunter. And a strong dash out of Xbalanque. Wait, still in range. There's a sash. There's the hit. Silenced. Puts down Hayzer.
Good job. Good use of the increased movement speed coming out from Naja, and now he's coming around the back of this fight, but someone else has gonna have to tank this tower if he wants to dive, and it doesn't look like the Chiron or Geb want to. What looked like a good fight for Epiphany Bolt that they could have turned, unfortunately, Tyr gets picked before he can stay alive long enough to bait all of them into a corner, and now this Isis just going to pressure out this Tier 1 tower. It's very low, a couple more hits.
One of the strong things that Tyr has, especially specifically coming into this game or into this season, is JoJo secures the hit off of a fantastic Fearless assist coming out from our Tyr specifically, is the passive that Tyr has.
Kraken is up just off the mark, though. Doesn't find in the middle. Axioz rotates in, trying to find someone, but he's going to get plucked out. There's the Geb to get that out. Poseidon can't escape before the Cataclysm locks down JustJack. Now Axioz going to do a nice juke, avoiding the bludgeon here, and this game has just been back and forth. And honestly, the past 2 minutes have been very awkward, where members of both teams just overextending and getting picked off. Yeah,
just a lot of aggression. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, right? Red team very, very low here. Aggressive nonetheless. Envo Clan could have gone in and wiped them, right? So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of risky, aggressive plays from both teams. But what I was talking about prior was that Tyr passive is so important in a world without beats.
Yeah, you can't get stunned for more than a second. And CC reduction does stack on that, so you're getting stunned for even less than a second.
Which is why the Hun Batz choice is so strong. Fear No Evil pulses out repeated CC, which means Tyr passive, crowd control reduction, it don't matter. That ultimate is going to send you walking no matter what. So Envo Clan, that's really Deathwalker's job, is to hurt Tyr with this Fear No Evil.
Speaking of Fear No Evil in the mid lane, JoJo, he's going to find death, but he needs to find a kill to find the revive, but I don't think he has enough damage.
Nope.
Not going to be there. There's the execute coming, and it's going to be Hayzer who found the last hit on that one.
And that's a good thing, as our Xbalanque sporting that New York area code, 212, but most importantly, that front part of the slash line. 2 kills means he's got an additional 10 power online for this Xbalanque.
JustJack has been just off this game for me. He has been repeatedly throwing out Krakens with no setup and chasing down kills in a very greedy manner.
Yeah.
The first one over on the pick at the Isis, right, just kind of throws it out. There's nothing that happens, right? He's not slowed, he's not stunned, and it completely whiffed, and then he gets out of position because he tried to chase into the kill. Over the right-hand side, Harpies, no numbers had rotated and slowed the Isis, and he finds her in the middle, and they get the pick. But then once again in that mid lane, about a minute and a half ago, he just kind of chases 2 players into their tower who have full movement speed, not slowed, not stunned at all,
right.
And he kind of hits 1 player on the edge of the Kraken, which
just
is virtually no damage. And then he's out of position and dies to the Geb's rotation. He just seems like he's playing ranked right now and not communicating with his team, which is something he did very well versus the Poppies.
He's also on a very different god from the Agni. That might have something to do with it. Agni has, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, how Agni just has a plethora of options when it comes to being in trouble. Poseidon Krakens his feet, right? Like you hope your passive is built up and you turn and run. He doesn't really have all those options in comparison to Agni, so
I like that.
That might come into it as well.
Do you see what DeathPanter just did there?
The D ward?
So he loses it in the end, but he had the sentry and a normal. He places the normal ward. He's like, first off, I'm going to have vision of this, and if you have a sentry, I'm going to know it's there now, and then I can re-sentry. He uses 2 wards and loses it anyway. Speaking of DeathPanter, though, blinks in, Cataclysm on 2, and it's going to be Tyr that actually knocks up Kayla in a bad spot. The res is going to be there. Will the Fear No Evil come out afterwards? Yes, it will, and that's going to disperse the fight for now.
Sends Tyr packing into the left side. Meanwhile, out of the right side, trying to find an escape is Jack. He's going to get flipped on, but now everybody's looking at Khepri. A good tidal wave is enough, and Tyr doesn't even get to deal the damage, but he's there, and he gets the assist. Kraken's good, going to hit 1. Tyr still dead. Thanks to Deathwalker. 8-8 kills are tied, but the battle still rages on. Left side, red team looking for an engagement. Meanwhile, Bellona chasing the Isis in the mid.
1 for 1 so far in a very extended engagement, but it's going to be the sash and take it to the sky. iSilenced, does he have the damage? No, just barely, but JoJo will find the last auto to finish it off. Hayzer silence, and that's a slow as well. Poseidon's rotated off of the base, and now it's a 2v4 as Envo try and hold their tier 2 tower, and it looks like Epiphany Bolt gonna decide better than to siege this one. They'll be backing off and stealing away a little bit of jungle.
So after a good exchange over in the mid lane, Tier 2 tower still stands, but 18 minutes on the clock. Epiphany Bolt leading by 1 kill, but more importantly, 4,100 gold. Thanks to a couple of objectives and strong fights, Epiphany Bolt, who won game number 1, are poised to start their lead into the late game of game number 2 as well.
Tier teleports into Gold Theory, just making sure that Envo Clan couldn't do it once all his team backed off. Smart decision from him. JustJack in the mid lane here. Just going to clear the wave and back off. This tier has Curse and Teleport, so no Blink, so he's not going to be able to immediately get to the back line, but still someone that you have to carefully avoid. He actually ulted into the tower there, took a couple shots, then got pulled in, I think it was the Fear No Evil, and then took a Kraken and then still walked out of the tower.
Well, that unkillable tier is sort of coming to fruition. The Bulwark of Hope is built as well. Another cloak being purchased, so that can either be a Mantle of Discord or...
Okay. What is the best tree in the game right now in Smite?
I like the tree over by the Gold Fury.
Okay.
The one, if you look right here.
Okay, it's the cloak.
It's got the extra...
the cloak tree, Thom. It's the cloak tree. You got Magi's Blessing, you got Mantle of Discord, you got Hide of the Urchin, and then you have the last one, which is the damage reduction as Silenced gets plucked, takes a little bit of poke.
I like Shuriken. I like that tree, but I also like offensive more than defensive.
That's true.
I like how Shuriken turns into a golden bow. I think that's a lot of fun.
No numbers, a little bit of trouble here, surrounded by
a little bit of
4,
trouble.
taking poke. He'll be fine though.
Epiphany Bolt now coming down the mid lane. Triple stun out of the gap. That's going to be a strong initiation, but the counter initiation just as strong by the monkey. It's going to send everybody walking the other way, and the unkillable tier is how we'll start things off. JustJack in the front gets the kill onto tier.
And just... such a good combination from Envo Clan. I really didn't like the Hunbat's ult at first, but it actually allowed Envo Clan to find the pick on the tier because they were Epiphany Bolt were forced out. They didn't want to have to burn their purification because they knew the Hunbats couldn't kill them. But if they had used it, maybe they could have followed up. Just wouldn't have been worth it. Now the Gold Theory being surrounded here. Kayla's going to miss his route. And it looks like neither team wants to fully commit. 9-9 in kills.
You know, so the execution, sure, but you can always, I like looking at the thought process, right, as our team sort of dance around this Gold Fury. The idea to, Geb has initiated on me, I must counter-engage with Fear No Evil. I love that thought process, and I'm happy that that's
this
where
is risky, though. The
Deathwalker
3 big teamfighting ultimates for Envo are down, and they're going to force the Gold Fury. And now Epiphany Bolt, they're rotating in. Silence coming through, and going to take a little bit of damage. And now no numbers. Just going to be put on the Kraken, and looks like a general disengage, but the tier has come off his spawn.
I love that play. Envo Clan tried to make use of the power play while Tier was back in the fountain, dealing with his sort of death timer. And Envo Clan tried to make a spot. They're only down 5k. They can fight 5-on-4. But once Tier comes back, it's a little bit of trouble. And the Fearless is telling exactly how he feels about that onto Bellona. No numbers down to about 40% HP. There's the ultimate out of the monkey. But a strong Sanctuary will save the life of that Naja. What a play.
Tier in the back line just wrecking havoc. Khepri's ult was forced. There's the Kraken, and Axioz is going to finish off JustJack's Axioz a little bit low, but no one in position to chase him down, and JustJack falls once again. The Khepri, he ulted him, but great job by Axioz on holding his abilities and waiting for that Khepri ult to just finish before he found the kill.
Yeah, you know, earlier we were discussing about how JustJack his positioning was a little bit different this game. Epiphany Bolt getting aggressive.
No
There's
numbers.
the help from Tier. No numbers isolated in between the entirety of the team of Epiphany Bolt. And Tier's going to be given chase, but a strong route out of Khepri stops that in his tracks.
These fights have been so back and forth. Both teams are always scared to full commit. No numbers in Kayla's. This is a very risky move for them. They're both under half. 4 players on Epiphany Bolt going to bait the Gold Furies. Axioz has taken a lot of poke. Needs to be trouble. There's the Geb shield. Going to heal up a little bit. Knock up and stun. Keep no numbers at bay. And it's just been a back and forth. You can see the players that have died in both engagements coming off of base. JustJack and iSilenced. And there's the Ice Assault.
That's going to be the Gold Fury going the way of Epiphany Bolt and Envo Clan trying to turn things around by way of kills. Unfortunately, they've already started the disengage. Sprint is strong. And Envo Clan going to find a way out.
You can see no numbers, though. Doesn't want to give up completely. He's going to walk over the Sentry Ward. 4 members around the red buff. And this is interesting that Envo's chasing in with 2 players very low. You can see the Geb wanting to defend. There's the knockup. But look at this. Around the corner, it's iSilenced. Can he find the stun? And there it is on no numbers. Takes him to the sky. No ult available.
Beautiful play by JustJack, dropping the ultimate right in between. And the ultimate out of Naja, not quite going to land thanks to a couple of purification hits and a Khepri ult. So Naja unable to really execute right there. But Epiphany Bolt sitting pretty, 6,200 gold in the lead as they push their opponent back onto their own turf.
You know, when you look at a game and try and figure out who has the lead, the first thing you always go to is gold. Because that always tells the story of, all right, who has more items, who has blah, 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 who has control. Then you look at kills. But there's always, the lead is never truly defined by that. It's usually accurate, but sometimes you can just tell based on the positioning of players and the momentum in the game.
Oh, yeah.
There's a 6,000 gold difference, but this game is dead even because Epiphany Bolt cannot win a fight cleanly, neither can Envo Clan.
Sure.
Both teams right now, regardless of items, regardless of power spikes, are fighting on an even footing.
I wouldn't say that they're completely dead even, but Envo Clan is certainly playing like it, and I like that decision coming out from Envo because, as we always say, I mean, you know, there's a 5,000 gold differential between these teams, 5,000 to 6,000, right? 5,000, you're talking 1,000 gold per player, right? Of course, it's not all equally distributed, but deal with it. You're talking 1,000 gold a player. That's a third of an item, right? Maybe half of an item. You can fight into that. That is a fight you can take. 10,000 is when you start to say, all right, we got to, you know, hope that something happens.
No numbers just walks in, throws out the Scourge. The Tier's like tanking it actually towards the lane and not paying attention and just lose that blue. So unfortunate. But here comes the Kraken on 3. iSilenced also stuns them out. And now it's iSilenced in a bad spot. No numbers over the top. And this Naja has to ult out.
Love the decision coming out from Naja. A lot of times we'll see players hold on to that ultimate, especially in the amateur scene. So intelligent decision coming out from iSilenced. Meanwhile, the front side, double Fearless out of the tier. He's looking for the power cleave combination. He's dealt a lot of damage, but this Khepri is able to keep his damage at bay as well. Envo Clan still have 5. Sprint is pushing onto the tower. Tier 2 tower down 50% HP. So is the tier. He's going to flip out.
He has to flip out there, and there's going to be the tier 2, a couple more swings, and that's going to fall. And now Envo Clan, the lead was 6,000, now only 3,400, and that was the fight I have been waiting for JustJack to have. He doesn't just throw out the ultimate with no setup, with nothing. iSilenced 3-man Fearless into a 3-man Kraken, and Epiphany just could not react in time. That's the fight they've been needing to take. It's someone teleporting into this tower by himself. Oh,
and it's a tier. Of course it is. Tier with the Bulwark of Hope. He's trying to do work as well. Bellona pushed down to about half HP. Here comes Epiphany for the turn back. JustJack very low. Stun is strong. DeathPanter with a beautiful play is going to take out the mid laner. Here comes the ultimate out of Batz trying to find more is Chiron, but DeathPanter, the support, gets a double kill.
And now iSilenced going to take 1 to the sky, and even if he survives that, he'll land in the middle of 3. But nope, it's going to be the Naja finding the kill, and you can see Isis cheekily trying to catch someone backing here. No Gold Fury available, but there are some towers on the board, and it looks like Epiphany Bolt are heading to Fire Giant instead, or just looking for the tier 2.
Well, they're crossing over the other side of the neighborhood.
It has to be Fire Giant. That was a tier 1 for free.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that they're heading over to the right-hand side, this is what they're trying to force. But Khepri, you know, spawning in 10 seconds and JustJack in 15. They need to make sure they have the burst, but Khepri the Naja bat.
Khepri doesn't scare me when it comes to stealing Fire Giant. I'm definitely more concerned about this Batz and the Hunter that are coming up. A strong Fear No Evil, although it's still on cooldown for a couple of seconds.
Thought he was going to teleport. There's the Ice Bolt.
Oh, that's gone. Pop, pop, Epiphany Bolt, pick up the Fire Giant, and now they're looking to pick up some kills as well. Hayzer forced out on the right. Split up is going to send Deathwalker to the left. And a good split up sends Oh, that is not strong, actually. Deathwalker.
Tier 1 tower.
Nah, they can't defend this. They can't defend the tier 1. Khepri kind of wants to, though.
Link in by iSilenced. Actually, Deathwalker, he finds 3, but no follow-up. There's the gap. 4-man Cataclysm. Spear Bolt coming through. Not going to connect. And now no numbers pushed into a bad spot in this team fight.
JustJack is staying on the outside. He still has Kraken. He doesn't find a spot to use it. That's not ideal either. Everybody just has to use their abilities. And right now, Epiphany Bolt is looking so strong just because they're able to find the holes for their spells.
Nice pluck by Khepri, going to make sure that no number stays alive.
Fine.
4 members still up for Envo Clan, but they're all so low. And that Fire Giant buff on Epiphany, it's going to be healing them up. And now, looks like Envo, they want to fight. Their positioning says they don't want to back, which is surprising to me. They're going to lose the tower anyway, and now none of them are in position to defend this Phoenix.
Well, I mean, that's what we saw the last time, right? Envo Clan won a strong fight after fighting despite the fact that they were down so much, right? And I really enjoy that strategy. I like to see that confidence in the play. So now they're trying to do a similar thing right now, but it might be a little bit too late.
DeathPanter taking a lot of poke here, and there's the silence coming through. 2 members picked up. Deathwalker finds that. Khepri trying to keep JustJack alive in the back line, but Axioz is not going to give this up.
There's 4 members collapsing on top of this tier. 4 members on top of this tier. Tier's going to be able to use LOL and get out. And that's Tier. He's going to be able to walk away no problem. But 4 members of Envo Clan still barking down this mid tower. There's a stun on top of Tier, only 1 second or less. But can they push the Phoenix is the question.
I don't know. Get blinks in, 3-man Cataclysm, and now it's iSilenced taking JustJack to the sky. He will fall. The crit's too much to handle, and now 4 members of Envo Clan sieging out this middle Phoenix. It's just 3 left alive for Epiphany, trying to hold out. Geb finds a knockup, and Envo recognize that without a wave, they can't take this, and now the lead has extended to 8,500 in Epiphany's favor. Gold Theory is up.
Is it worth it to go for the Gold Fury? I don't know if Epiphany Bolt, they just have the Geb available. But Tier comes to Tier. I don't know if the Gold Fury is a strong choice. I think it's the incorrect one. And so just a little bit of vision will be placed by Envo Clan.
Buff's going to be taken away here, and these builds starting to come in handy there. We've seen the Mantle of Discord proc once so far.
Oh, yeah.
The Tier, it's going to be so hard to lock him down, and Envo definitely, they were doing a great job of finding the Tier when he went too hard in the back line in the mid game, but heading into late game, if they put all their eggs into the basket of trying to kill Tier, they're going to lose these fights, and I think that's what we've started to see.
Yeah, let's take a look at Mantle of Discord, actually. This is one of the newer items for Season 3. It provides a slew of protections. You're looking at 60 protections for each school of magic. 15% CDR is definitely a strong stat, but more importantly, that paragraph at the bottom, basically, if you get the target low, they auto-stun people around them.
It's Old Fist of the Gods, except instead of an active, it's on an item when you get very low. It's pretty good. And you also get a second of CC immunity.
It is very, very good. Worth noting that it's over 3,000 gold, so you know you got to pay for it. But it is a very strong item, and it is absolutely perfect for Tier. CDR, protection, the ability to stun people if they actually get me low for some reason. It's perfect on Tier.
Fire Giant buff going to be ending on the 3 members who still have it here in about 5 seconds, which means Fire Giant's going to be spawning in 60. And now the game still has been in control of Epiphany Bolt, but somehow Envo Clan, really a lot of the fights they win have been centered around great Kraken play from JustJack. If you can find multiple members and, more importantly, kill one of them, they seem to win the fights, or the fights at the very least go slightly in their favor. And a lot of that's been his combination with Deathwalker. Early on, we didn't see them synergize very well, but heading later into these games, they've been doing a great job. And honestly, if they can bait out a couple purification spots.
Yeah, I mean, take a look who's on top of the player damage. It's not the team on top of the game. It's the 2 players you were talking about, plus a Xbalanque. I mean, even Bellona is above the rest of Epiphany Bolt. But really what it comes down to, and I love this, I love this point to illustrate, is that it's not always about the damage, it's about what you do with the damage. And Epiphany Bolt has just been able to make better use of their damage output.
They have all the towers down, and now they want to start up this Fire Giant. It's going to be, it actually has just spawned. And now they're just looking for someone to pick off. DeathPanter has had a lot of nice blink engagements here. We'll see if he can find another one. And he needs to be careful, though. Doesn't want to get turned on by the Poseidon Kraken. And just look at him sneak around the corner of this.
Fire Giant started and stopped and started and stopped. And this time, it looks like Epiphany Bolt is actually going to commit. Fire Giant down to about 50% HP. Envo Clan has gotten the message. They want to be here, and JustJack definitely wants to be here. Epiphany Bolt sees everybody show up, and they leash.
DeathPanter taking a little bit of poke. Kraken over the corner is going to find 3.
No follow-up, though. There's no way to follow up, and that might be a problem for Epiphany Bolt. Shell is strong on top of the red side, and now both teams are going to go into it. Xbalanque ultimate is strong, and that's going to be used to send everybody into disarray. Ultimate on the backside thanks to Fear No Evil, and the monkey is not involved in this fight post-ultimate.
And it's just the frontline warriors zoning out so many members at the back. No numbers fighting too, but he's also got the damage reduction in the meantime. Deathwalker is going to find that tier, and the ring bounce going to poke out no numbers, but it's just going to be a 2-for-0 in favor of Envo Clan. That Kraken, while there was no follow-up, it forced Epiphany Bolt into an awkward spot, and all their carries were just zoned out. They couldn't get into the fight anymore after taking so much poke.
Such an interesting exchange. You know, Epiphany Bolt, as I said, there wasn't any follow-up after that Kraken, so nobody really died for it. But we saw Tier go a little bit too deep, and he got taken out by the Hunbats. Envo Clan kind of got lucky there.
I think they had a great play. That was no numbers zoned out the carries that were super low that couldn't kind of fight into them, and the tier just got kited around. It was a great play from them. No numbers here, once again, on zoning duty, along with this Khepri, and the Fire Giant, it's already 25. At 20%, and there's no way Epiphany Bolt can get into this.
Geb is nowhere, no blink available. Envo Clan down 10,000 gold, has taken the Fire Giant, now looking to turn onto the enemy team. Rollout is going to send Geb packing into the mid lane, but Envo Clan now have the Fire Giant. They weren't afraid to fight when they were down 7,000 sans the Fire Giant. Now they're down 10k with the Fire Giant. JustJack still does.
Just finds JustJack in the back line. Unfortunate for him. And, you know, Envo Clan are having trouble peeling this tier off of their Poseidon. And I honestly think this Poseidon should look into either getting Mantle of Discord or Magi's Blessing, because the tier, once it's Fearless, is like, as long as he doesn't get stunned by anything else, like he needs some protection on him. He has the damage, he's swinging real hard, but honestly he also needs a Tahuti.
Yep.
It's an interesting spill for
trade a Chronos Pendant.
Yeah, I'd say get rid of the Chronos Pendant, man.
Get rid of the Chronos Pendant. I mean, cycling your abilities in a fight as a Poseidon, you're never going to get 2 Krakens in a fight.
At the same time, he does have his Gem of Isolation,
yeah.
So getting more Whirlpools, which are really distracting to the team, going to be good. But we haven't really seen him have that at all. He's kind of all-in with his Kraken, and then run away from the fight and got chased down by tier the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. I am the biggest fan of, well, when I'm commentating and not playing against it, I'm the biggest fan of Gem of Isolation Whirlpools, but I'm just not seeing that being played in that style. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, get rid of the Chronos and go defensive. I think that's the correct move for Poseidon. I like the Magi's Blessing idea as well. And, well, we're 35 minutes in, and I asked you before we even got into the game how many Magi's we were going to see. We still see 0.
I'm really surprised. We see 1 over on iSilenced. It actually has a lot of bridge items, not a ton of damage here. But if he can find JustJack to the sky, that's all he really needs, is to at least half-life him for the rest of the team to follow up.
But the Magi's is on the wrong team. I wanted to see the Magi's on the team that's going up against the tier and Naja, the characters that get smoked by Magi's.
Isis as well. Yeah, it's rough, but Envo Clan, they're at a 12,000 gold deficit as we find a quick pause. We'll get back into the game shortly.
But they have a Fire Giant.
They're sieging, and right now, almost everyone is full build on the side of Epiphany. And Envo, most players are full build. More importantly, both hunters are full build.
Oh yeah.
So they're swinging at their maximum potential, and you know the supports they don't really need all that gold. Like, once they get tanky enough, it doesn't really matter.
Tanky enough is really the question. How tanky is enough? Because I mean, we've seen some of these supports get blown up
early on, though. Later in the game, it's kind of
even still. Geb has been exploded quite a few times here. DeathPanter has suffered a couple of times despite being level 19, 3 levels above, or 2 levels, I'm sorry, above the Kalas is.
Everyone level 20 as well, and Envo Clan. This is not they cannot just dive into an Isis, Geb. Like, they need to play this very safe.
And sprint.
There it is. iSilenced gonna find the Fear No Evil, and Silenced is actually feared out. Deathwalker very low, and it's the Geb looking for the multi-man Cataclysm, and once Envo Clan forced it. Envo Clan forced that. Did not need to.
I really like that. I really like that play specifically because of what Xbalanque did. If they can get out with just losing their Hunbats, this is fine. Ooh, but that curse is going to be problems. JustJack uses Purification to get away from the slow granted by the enemy team. Epiphany Bolt is still giving chase. Tier finds Khepri, and it looks like Khepri's going to be the one traded, but there's the turnaround. Over the top comes the stun. From the bottom comes the Kraken, and Epiphany Bolt are all in trouble.
Silenced finds one to the sky, and it's going to be no numbers the first to fall, but look at this. DeathPanter on the side. Looks like he wants to find someone else, but just going to be forced to back off. And, I mean, that was just unfortunate. Perfect re-engage by Envo Clan. The Kraken, the Eagles rally, but it wasn't enough damage. And then you saw Circle Protection pop on the ground, and then Envo Clan just had no more follow-up, and Isis was able to heal everyone up.
There's the negative to the positive that I was talking about. I was giving Envo tons of credit for fighting despite being down. That's usually something that we don't see teams do. It's sort of tough to get your mind in the game when you're down so much. But Envo, they wound up winning a couple of fights. They get a Fire Giant because of it, right? But the downside is the numbers actually do matter. And when you can't deal enough damage, those counter engages don't actually wind up working in your favor.
I'm really surprised that this Poseidon is going Spear of Desolation instead of the
Magi's
Rod
Blessing?
of Tahuti. Like, if you're going to go, it's okay, like, okay, I don't want this defensive item, I want an offensive item.
Yep.
If you make that decision, that's fine. But
Yes.
Tahuti is going to give a lot more power. I understand that you get the 20 pin on it, but if you're going to do that build, you might as well trade out either the Chronos Pendant or the Gem of Isolation for Tahuti.
And
so you're just going for that one-shot power. And taking away either of those is fine, in my opinion. I'm just really surprised.
And again, you're not going to get multiple Krakens off. Even with cooldown reduction and a Spear of Desolation, you're not going to hit up two Krakens in a fight.
Selling Doom Orb is probably the smarter choice. It's going to be hard to keep it stacked up, especially if you die and then your Titan's getting sieged.
Doom Orb, it's always just so powerful. There's the Fear No Evil, into the grab, into the Kraken. Tier finds himself very low.
That's a lot invested into a tier. Three ultimates used, but they do find the pick. And the tier has been the one that's really been distracting to Envo Clan, always on their back line. And now Envo Clan, with that tier dead for 60 more seconds, are going to start up the Fire Giant here. They don't have the Ice Assault, so they don't have a guaranteed confirm, especially with that Kraken down. And now Kalis trying to get in here.
Epiphany Bolt are being zoned pretty successfully by Envo Clan. Fire Giant has been leashed as Envo Clan tries to find the counter engage. Up in the air goes the Naja. And he'll land into a flurry of arrows thanks to the Chiron up in the ultimate, unable to find the kill. And pretty much just a wash here as we have two different fights going on.
Sprit popped by the Naja, and now JustJack on full retreat here. And it's actually the dual lane that rotates into an awkward spot over the corner. Nice Khepri ult. Obviously, Hayzer didn't die, but if those Winkas did connect, he would have fallen. And that was awkward, right? Envo Clan spend 3 ultimates, very important, like their bread and butter teamfighting ultimates, Xbalanque, Batz, and Poseidon. Waste all of them to pick one player. And then instead of forcing the Fire Giant, they're baiting for a fight.
There's the Kraken one more time. Thank you, Chronos Pendant. JustJack throws the ultimate out to take out the Hunter. So you're not going to get 2 Krakens in a single team fight, but maybe you'll get one back-to-back, able to take out the Hunter right there. And now Envo Clan, they've got 5 players ready to fight. Only 4 on the side of Epiphany Bolt as Tier makes his way back in. And Envo Clan starting the Fire Giant.
You can see Naja trying to get in here, but once again, multiple members zoning out, and it's just 2 on the Fire Giant. And JustJack takes a Spirit Ball to the face, and he's going to get blown up immediately. There's the health regen, and it's going to pop there.
Unfortunate for iSilenced. He misses the ultimate on the Batz. Had that connected, that would have been the 2nd kill, and Epiphany would be looking at a 4-on-3. A very strong situation. Despite the missed ultimate, though, Epiphany Bolt seems to have won this exchange, and they have map presence over the Fire Giant, not going for the objective, however.
Left-hand side, Phoenix has respawned for Epiphany Bolt in the meantime, and iSilenced will finish that off. All players level 20 on Epiphany Bolt. Kayla is still trying to get level 20, but he's full build by all means, just looking for one more item. Something to note here that we actually didn't talk about is he has meditation.
Yep.
So another, for these extended engagements, I really love it because it seems like neither team can fully one-on-one burst a player, so having that extra sustain in a team fight's just going to help.
Yeah, sustain always a good choice. And Khepri, he is the true defensive guardian, right? He's got the passive shield that he gives out, and all of the other abilities that allow him to help save his teammates. So meditation just sort of fitting right on in there. That blue buff seemed to have taken forever. Meanwhile, the Fire Giant, quite a different story, already down to 50%, thanks to Epiphany Bolt starting things rather quickly.
You can see
likely to be leashed though.
Envo Clan, their engage has been Deathwalker the entire game. It's all about the blink, fear no evils. You can see him making sure to stay out of combat so we can find the perfect engagement. They really need to rely on JustJack to have good positioning, in my opinion, so he can find the follow-up Kraken, because so far they haven't got that synergy in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of the initiation, when you pick a Khepri, the initiation is going to wind up on usually your solo or your jungler. Here we've got the monkey doing all of the work. It's going to be a grip onto the tier. Strong Spirit Ball puts Khepri in some trouble, followed up with a Fearless. And on the backside, there's Naja by himself. 5 players collapsing onto the lone assassin. Strong Geb Shield, strong Sanctuary. Is it strong enough? The answer is yes. We'll see Silence walk out of the backside.
Deathwalker still has Fear No Evil and 3 members grouped up. This is the perfect moment. He finds all 3, and it's the tier. Mantle of Discord, gonna keep him alive for now. Chiron getting chased by Deathwalker, but he can't find the last hit. Gep Shield, gonna keep tier alive for another second, but he's still gonna fall. Great job by the Hunbats to hold that ultimate for so long. The Chiron, though, just barely sneaking away with that back.
Little cheeky positioning from JustJack as well. Tier turned around to grab the Fearless. Fearless right into the Whirlpool, which of course is a cripple. Fearless is a dash. Stops the Fearless in his tracks, unable to hit the second hit of that Fearless ability. So
you could see the change in builds. You could see Hayzer. What we typically see is the Iqval sold instead for the Oboe, but he's actually elected to go into the Executioner, which is very good against players who have stacked a lot of physical protection. Which means his main goal is to go on tier when tier dives the back line, and you can see those chin size doing work when the tier gets in there.
And I mean the tier. You mentioned high physical protection. He's got Midgardian Mail and the Breastplate of Valor, so a lot of
Mantle
health.
of Discord as well. That's also 60 more protection.
60 more. So just a lot of tankiness on this character.
And you can see the tiers died 9 times. Like he's zoning the back line, but also dying guaranteed every single time. JustJack looking. He's got his Kraken available, but I'm really surprised he's the one trying to zone out. He needs to be careful, because if Chiron finds a couple hits on him, he could fall. Fire Giant at half, Silence trying to get in here.
Epiphany Bolt being successfully zoned thanks to a Khepri and a Bellona. But the problem here for Envo Clan is that all of the damage is coming out from Hayzer onto this Fire Giant. So that's ultimately going to result in the leash. JustJack on the side being chased by iSilenced doesn't have the abilities to catch up to the mid-mage. Otherwise, we might have seen a deleted Poseidon.
So once again, Kraken came out against the Chiron with no one else nearby. He has the CDR, so it will be up relatively soon. But, I mean, Chiron was just able to go and auto-attack the wave and heal up.
Fire at 25%. Epiphany Bolt have control over it, but there's the Fear No Evil. Nobody has control over it. JustJack has control over JoJo. No Casey to be found. Down goes the Chiron, and everybody's chasing the tier. Hayzer gets credit for that one. 20 kills to 19. This is a bloodbath. Up in the air goes Silence. He will certainly die when he lands.
But he is going to... No, he doesn't take out someone. Great ultimate coming out from Khepri. Hayzer finds the double kill, and now there's just 2 members alive for Epiphany Bolt.
Adanas, just a big swing.
To fin this FG.
Adanas. Envo Clan can and will get this Fire Giant unless Isis ultimate comes up in a second.
This Isis has a lot of damage. There's the Spirit Ball. Deathwalker silenced out. His Mantle of Discord will be procced. And now
25.
Fire Giant still just swinging away, doing a lot of damage to Hayzer. This is a very extended engagement. This is not guaranteed. DeathPanter is in the middle. There's the Kraken, but it's not enough damage, and it's going to be Epiphany Bolt who will steal it away.
Epiphany Bolt stole it off of a Geb basic. Smacked
Deathwalker
in the face is the Isis.
DeathPanter trying to get out there, but Fear No Evil and the Khepri pluck will keep him locked down. 4-man Cataclysm. He doesn't have the damage to kill anyone, and it's just a matter of time. But Epiphany Bolt will successfully steal away the Fire Giant. All 5 players down. Envo, at the very least, will be able to get this Tier 2 tower, but rough for them.
Rough indeed. Was that a Geb basic or a Shockwave that stole a Fire Giant?
It was something, man.
I'll give you that. It was something. 46 minutes into this contest, Epiphany Bolt steal the Fire Giant away from the team that was down 10,000 gold. Think about that statement real quick. Envo Clan wins a fight despite being down 5 digits in the gold category, comes back, takes the Fire Giant, but the last moment, a Geb steals the objective? Out of this world.
That's just rough. Deathwalker going to jump, looking to find the Chiron. Red buff being started there. JustJack. He's going to have to pull off of that one. Khepri looking for a pluck. At least root him. Burn his Magi's. Burn his Magi's, Kayla. And it's actually JoJo in a bad spot. Gets bursted very quickly. Had his purification up, just wasn't able to react in time. The mechanics weren't there.
Ring's going to miss. Envo Clan fighting down this left Phoenix. It's dead already. Beautiful Spirit Ball through the wall. Almost enough to take out the mage, but not quite. Epiphany Bolt now coming around from the left and right side. Pincer maneuver. iSilenced on the right, and Tier all by himself on the left. Here comes the blink in. 2 people stunned thanks to the Cataclysm, and Envo Clan looking to play defense.
JustJack comes back into the team fight to pop his sprint. Almost dies to the ring toss. Spirit Ball over the wall, not going to connect it now. Envo Clan, they had the lead, but they played it wrong. They're in full retreat. Kayla's going to get knocked back, and the question is, can Epiphany Bolt chase him down? Actually, it looks like Envo Clan want to fight now. Khepri Khepri goes in. No numbers over the top. It's going to be a 2-man stun, and he's just chasing down this guy. Sanctuary popped, and a great stun by iSilenced will make sure that the ISIS gets out safely.
Fantastic teamwork there. The silence, the stun, the push, all come together for Epiphany Bolt to save the life of the mid laner. Meanwhile, Monkey gets one more kill onto the Geb again.
2 dead, but Envo Clan on very low health. They're going to be forced to back here. They'll pick up this red buff quickly and then take a trip back to their base. Everyone going to be full build here. Kalos just has to finish off his Magi's blessing. These hunters are both starting to swing in the late game. JustJack, 45,000 damage to his name.
Wow.
12,000 above anyone on Epiphany Bolt, 10,000 above anyone on his own team. And honestly, his positioning has been so good in every single engagement. He's only taken 2 deaths. It's very rare to see him in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean, we've just seen the Xbalanque be able to stay on the outskirts, and he knows his role. We saw early on when Envo Clan was looking towards the left Phoenix for the very first time, Kev, there was this really crazy exchange, ultimates coming. Xbalanque just sat there basic attacking the tower, as he should. And that's why he's been so successful this game, despite his team being down so much. Envo Clan is on the offensive in the middle lane.
You can see Kayla's there looking for a root, doesn't connect, and Envo Clan slowly trying to siege this, blink in, and now this tier doing what he's been doing all game, but he's left alone. Kraken, it's going to be immuned, and now he's forced out, but he can't use Lawbringer in time. Kayla's is the one credited with that kill. No numbers now on the Phoenix, getting poked out. There's his Mantle of Discord popped, and it looks like, actually, no, excuse me, that was actually his Bulwark of Hope. So he's going to have that little bit of extra shield, and now Envo finally taking the last tower of the game.
So there's 60 seconds until tier shows back up for Epiphany Bolt. That's a full minute that the Red Squad has to fight 4-on-5. This could be the last sequence of the game if Envo Clan play as aggressive and lack the hesitation as they have the entire game. But with a quick back from Bellona.
She has teleport, though. Yeah,
okay,
you can
no
see
problem.
her coming back into the game.
Pulling the old okey doke.
I really need to see iSilenced connect. He needs a big ult, and it's actually going to be DeathPanter who blinks in, finds 4, but no one there to follow up.
Where's the team? The team finally shows up, but it's too little too late. DeathPanter has taken a slew of damage. He'll be able to go back to the fountain and heal up, but now there's only 3 people playing defense on this Phoenix. And Envo Clan are able to take out all 3 structures, and this fire minion's coming down all 3 lanes.
You can see Envo now immediately running off, and did you see that Spirit Ball from ISIS connects 70%?
Yeah.
70%. And let me take note. Look at her build. There is not any burst from a Soul Reaver there. That is not an extra 15% from Soul Reaver. He could actually one-shot someone. If he sells Chronos Pendant, he could actually one-shot the Poseidon. I honestly think so. But Spear of Desolation finished for both mages, 3,800, 120 power, 20 penetration.
20 penetration.
And if you get a kill, you reset your cooldowns by 8 seconds. So
that's 3 seconds more than Thanatos passive. That's insane.
It's crazy here. And Envo, Fire Giant, has respawned. iSilenced on the left side of the map. He's going to have to try and clear out these fire minions. His left side Phoenix is about to spawn, and Envo know that this is their game to win now. Axioz, his Lawbringer, is forced out.
Envo Clan now playing closer to the Fire Giant.
I almost feel like Epiphany just need to give up the Fire Giant.
Well,
fight
at this
on
point,
your Titan, fight on your Phoenix. Like, it's just trying to get in there one at a time is only going to burn your ultimates and more than likely result in you getting picked. And I think that's the choice they've taken as well. Have Chiron clear out this left-hand side wave. Like, make sure to burn all the fire minions and then get out.
There's the Magi's Blessing we were asking for on top of the Khepri. Fire Giant will fall down in the hand of Envo Clan. All 5 members have the Fire Giant, and they're going to press their advantage. The game is now tied up. Epiphany Bolt used to have the lead even as Envo Clan were kind of wrecking havoc. But now, 3,000 gold separate the teams, and the gold is pretty much irrelevant as everybody has all of the items they've ever wanted.
You can see Hayzer there didn't want to back, electing to reset the mid camp and heal up off his Aussie as much as he can here. And now, Envo, they're looking to bait. Just focusing on the left-hand side, Phoenix as it is down. DeathPanter going to back in front of them, and a lot of Epiphany Bolt coming back into this game is going to have to be this JoJo. You can see he's got the 3K popped. If he can find a nice couple hits, maybe he can swing it. But so far, Kayla's doing a great job with the Khepri revives, and DeathPanter pops shell looking for the blink, and it's going to be on 5. Purification immediately popped, and no numbers, just going to be the front line there. Shell in response, and there goes the tier in the back line. He's focusing on Hayzer. This is a good look for him. Kraken in the middle, and meanwhile, tier is just wrecking havoc, but it doesn't matter. 2 on 4. It's going to be no numbers to find JoJo.
Tier is going to fall down as well. This one goes to Deathwalker. By the way, this is game number 2 of a best of 3. The first team to get to 2 wins wins the set and goes on to the finals. And ladies and gentlemen, taking a look at this performance, looks like we're going to get a game number 3. Epiphany took out game 1. Envo Clan take out game number 2. Despite being down for 80% of the game, they come out on top.
Fantastic play by them, and I really can't even point out a single player that I overtly loved. I think they all had their strengths, they all had their weaknesses, but as a team, Envo Clan fought together, and you even took note. Even when they were 7,000 behind, they were fighting like the game was even, and they're able to repeatedly take trade wins off of the game. And let's take a look at First Blood, because I was really interested to see what happened. And yeah, it looks like the Tier just tried to clear the wave at level 2, but he doesn't have the clear to finish it off at level 2.
You know what it looked like? It looked like last game he played the unkillable Raven and then comes in and goes, oh, I don't have my 6 item slots anymore. We've all done that once or twice. As I said, it's a best of 3, which means we're stuck in our semifinals. Let's take a look at the big picture of the rest of the tournament. Leftovers have already made quick use of Clown Fiesta, and they'll find themselves in the grand finals.
Badger and the new squad looking like they're doing very good, and the winner of this next match, the final game of Envo versus Epiphany, will find themselves against Badger. And they're fighting for a spot in the relegation match. So what happens is, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to have open brackets, and the winners of those games will then go on to face the Challenger Cup champions from the end of Season 2. And the winner of that will then face the 7th and 8th seed SPL teams from last year. So Dignitas and it is Myrmidon's going to have to defend their spot in Europe.
Yeah, we'll take a look at how strong those characters do. As I said, game number 1 was taken out by Epiphany Bolt, and then game number 2, against all odds, Envo Clan rose to the occasion, and they took away the win. We're heading on to game number 3, which is going to be the match-deciding factor. We'll see you in a few. Stay tuned for more Smite.
Let's go.